Good morning. Welcome to Mayor's Weekly, and as promised last week, I told you I'd have Brent McCarver join me again this week to talk about the final details of Foothills right around the corner. And prior to coming here, I asked Brent before we get into Foothills to give a little overview of Phase 2 of the paving that's about to get underway in the city. That's something I've been excited about for a long time, is our paving project. It goes back to the early days of this administration, which you can confirm, Brent, and we've paved streets all across this city, and there's more work lies ahead.
No question. You know, we're calling it right now Phase 2. It's Phase 2 of the 2023 paving.
Right.
If you go all the way back to your first year in office, I was looking yesterday, this actually be Phase 7. Of all the paving that's been done in the last 8 years. But we should be ready. We've talked to Wiregrass and the contractors, and they're, our striping, for instance, from Phase 1 hasn't been completed. So they're getting ready to complete the Phase 1, things like striping and parking spaces and stuff like that. I talked with our engineers. We believe they should start work sometime 1st to mid-October on what we're calling Phase 2. And again, Mayor, that's going to be, when this wraps up, the 2023 paving plan will be a little over 12 linear miles of paving that will have been done. And so I think that's going to be good. Weather plays a big part of paving this time of year as you get into October, November, December. Seems like we waited forever through all this dry weather. We get ready to do some paving and it starts raining. So that's the way it works. But we'll be paving.
Like washing your car.
That's right. That's right. And we'll be paving off and on probably all the way through to the spring to get this done. So.
Well, Brent, we've talked often about the paving we're doing it, and there's been a heavy emphasis on doing it right.
Yes. Quality
work, calling on our engineers to write bid spec to ensure that the taxpayers get good value for their money. Right. As city planner, I know you drive across this city on a regular basis, and what I see is the paving we've done is holding up well.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, if you look, matter of fact, some of what this job involves is going back over roads, that maybe even the regular driver wouldn't really consider whether it's in bad shape or not. But we look at all the roads to see what kind of condition they're in. Those that we did, prior to me coming on board, when you were first elected, they've held up well, and you're talking 8 years. Most of what we're doing right now is mill and overlay, which is complete. Take it down to the base, bring it back up. They're telling us that ought to give us anywhere from a 12 to a 20-year lifetime. So 20 years from now, some of these roads probably still be okay to drive on, and that's certainly giving you bang for your buck when you're getting something that's going to last 10 to 20 years.
Well, Brent, you talk about the approach mill and overlay, and what I observed before my time in the political arena, by and large, the approach was overlay.
Yeah, yeah.
And so it's and that's really akin if you were roofing your house and you took the shingles off and you nailed new shingles back over rotted plywood.
Yes.
Wouldn't that be about the same thing?
Yes, and even in some cases, they didn't even take the shingles off. They just put new shingles over old shingles.
Right.
So,
and the rotted plywood.
The rotted plywood's under that,
yeah.
And it causes even more problems. So,
right.
Yeah, all of this is take it down to the base. And the other thing that does, which I have learned, is from our engineers' standpoint, our engineers have a gentleman, his name is Sean. He's on site every day during the paving somewhere in Jasper. He's physically here. He goes through, I don't even understand what all he's doing. He checks depth, he checks material mix, he checks all that stuff
Checks
randomly.
The quality of the mix that matches off against
Right.
what they prescribe for the project.
And in some cases, like with 9th Avenue, when they milled down the plan we had in place, they said that's not going to work, and we had to come back and do some other things. So it's being done as right as it can be.
Well, in Ninth Avenue, we didn't force the issue.
Right.
They realized that what the plan that had been laid was not correct for what they had uncovered,
Right.
and so they draft a new plan
Yep.
that fits the situation.
Exactly.
And I really, really believe that we'll see a durable wear and
Oh, yeah.
service on that.
Yeah, I think it's already showing up.
Right, right. Well, Brent, I'm excited about that. Now, I know, did the Blackwell Meadows project get started?
Yes. Again, with some off and on rain, I'm not sure if they got it completed. They were looking at 2.5 to 3 days to get it all done. I know, as a matter of fact, they got out, marked it, put the equipment out there, and then the bottom fell out, so
Yeah.
they were a day or two behind. But it did get started. I'm not positive. We'll get back out there at the end of this week and check it, see if it's finished.
Good. Well, that's good. That was a project. It was on the back end of phase one,
Right.
and we get that wrapped up. And then, Brent, I guess the last thing I'll say on paving, the streets that we're paving is not something you've decided.
No.
That the council members. I've had a chance to interact with the engineers
Right.
and developing a paving list, and everybody signed off on
It's-
that. We hadn't, the mayor hadn't decided that
No.
we'll pave this. We've had no input on which one we pave.
No, it's a really good system. I think, basically we get ready for phase two, tell them this is what we've got set aside, budgeted for it. The engineers go to work. They come out and drive all over the city, about a 30 square mile radius, and excuse me, and then they come back with a list, prioritized, not prioritized by district, it's prioritized by worst
By
down,
need.
by need. Yeah, that's a good way to put it. And then I take the list and put it in by district, so that
Yeah.
the councilman can look, and see what's in each of their district. Give it, you guys get to review it. Of course, obviously, you're the mayor and the council. You can, make changes if you want to, but really haven't had any. And so it's based
You
all
haven't
on the
seen that,
engineer.
have you?
No,
We followed the guidance of the
pretty much,
engineering firm.
yes.
The politics is out of paving.
That's what I was going to say. It's a good way to put it. It's based on need. And I will say this, because we do get some calls. This year's focus was on, as we said, mill and overlay, which are some of the worst roads. There are places out there that may need a patch or something like that. Now, we're still doing that in-house. That's not part of what this is. This is, and it doesn't mean that you don't have a legitimate complaint or whatever, and we'll get out and fix that, some patchwork or whatever. But this is not resurfacing. It's not micro-surfacing. This is where we're going to have to restructure the road. So do keep in mind, it's not that we're skipping over your complaint. It's just that that's not what's been part of this year's plan.
Yeah. Well, the calls I get about paving, about 99% of them are non-city residents.
That's right. Yeah, that's right. That is true.
I had out the other day about, I said, sir, I'm sorry. I can't help you with that.
Can't help you with that.
But,
That's right.
Anyway, moving along from that, but I'm excited about what we're doing, and we wrap this up and we'll take stock of where we're at and decide. We know there's some other things that are on our radar screen, but we'll get to that after we finish up phase two.
Right.
Brent, Foothills, 2 weeks away?
A week from tomorrow.
Yeah.
It's a week from tomorrow, yeah.
Okay, well, a week away, not 2 weeks away.
Right.
What do we need to tell folks?
Main things, it's a good time to start, and we'll use social media. I know Main Street, and a lot of our volunteers, Rotary, Kiwanis are helping. Keep in mind, next Friday, starting at 6 a.m., what we call the footprint, which is Corona to 6th, 18th to 20th. Inside that little box, we will start shutting the streets downtown at 6 a.m. I will say, I hope this doesn't come across, we do it every year, so it really shouldn't be shocking. You can still access from the 18th Street and from 20th. all of downtown, but you won't be able to drive into the footprint. And I stress to people, we've met with police, with the police several times. Unfortunately, in the world we live in, this is a safety measure. People in Jasper, and you're very aware of this, and you think of things that, we hear on TV, some nut job drives through a festival crowd and kills a bunch of people. You park a vehicle downtown, leave it, there's some form of explosive in it. You can hide in there and be an active shooter. This is from a safety standpoint. And again, we've talked with all our businesses. We're bringing 20,000 plus people to town this weekend. The 4, 5, 6 hours that it may be inconvenient on 19th Street is certainly overshadowed. But do keep in mind, and the old saying, if you don't have to come downtown Friday, I just wouldn't. Wait till Foothills. Of course, obviously, again, if you can park, you can walk into the footprint, but we won't be able to have vehicles in there. That's the first thing I would tell. Second thing is, be prepared. The first act goes on at 6 o'clock. We say Foothills opens up at 5:30. We're looking ahead to the weather. I think it's going to be pretty good. Looks like we're going to be in the low 80s, and as the evening comes, we're going to drop even some more, so I think that'll be good. But given what we've seen in social media, be prepared to, if you want a good seat, get down here pretty early, because we have more vendors than we've ever had. We're just almost at 140 vendors this year. So I just think you could have very large crowds.
Well, I think we know this. Its security will be at an all-time high.
Yes.
I won't really elaborate beyond that.
No.
Other than security will be at an all-time high, and I hope everybody will take notice of that. Brent, one thing that we need to touch on, and I'll talk about it in my opening comments when we open the stage on Friday, our entertainment district.
Mm-hmm.
It's delineated signage,
Right.
marks. You don't bring beverages in.
No.
You don't take beverages out.
Right.
And either one is a violation of the ordinance.
It is.
And to net you a pretty serious citation if you get caught
Right.
doing that. And so we want everybody to have a fun time and enjoy it. That's why we put this on. But you have to be respecting of the entertainment district.
Yes. And once again, Main Street and the local restaurants and brewery, they have provided cups again this year, where when you go in, each different place will have its own colored souvenir cup.
Yeah.
I think that's a great idea that Main Street does. But keep in mind, when you go from place to place, you do swap cups, and you can't take something out in the back parking lot, or walk to your car maybe 2 blocks away and come back. Just know the police are doing their job, and I will say this, Chief Poe and Assistant Chief Tucker, I've been in a couple of meetings. They're as lenient as they can be and as vigilant as they can be at the same time. They want everybody to have a good time, but don't.
But as
As my granddaddy,
need be.
I was going to say, as my granddaddy used to say, don't show out.
Yeah, but they'll be as thorough as
That's
they
right.
need to be.
That is exactly right. So we're excited about that. I think, too, Mike can bring up, as you mentioned, without getting into detail, we will have uniformed, obviously, Jasper Police. There will be some uniformed security from other departments that will be there. They'll be visible. If you need them, they're there. You'll be seeing them on each corner. If you're the mayor and you realize, you may walk by and say, boy, that guy's just standing there for 8 hours. But
Yeah.
they're not. They're doing their job. but the police will be positioned with a headquarters on 2nd Avenue right over here beside the courthouse. If you need them, that's where you need to go, and it's just going to be exciting.
Yeah, we'll.
But there will also be some folks you won't see.
We'll have vantage points.
Yes.
That again underscores the depth of security for this event.
Yeah,
good.
No question.
Right. So we're looking forward to Foothills. Hope you'll take advantage to come out and enjoy any or all of Foothills. It doesn't cost one penny. That's by design, and as Brent said, hopefully the weather is going to be good, and I'll get together and visit with our friends, enjoy downtown Jasper, and move on into fall of the year.
That's exciting.
Let us know if you have questions about Foothills, paving, or anything else that relates to city government, and we'll look forward to being back with you soon. Thank you.